Howdy, folks. To answer some of your questions, no, I am not dead. I'm actually in Maryland. I'm out here as part of my divorce. Wait for that car to go by. I have to fix up our old house that I had before we moved to London, to fix it up to sell it. And it's kind of turned into a little bit of a metaphor. Like my marriage, I put a lot of work into it, and getting nothing out of it, getting it real nice, for a big black guy to slide into it. I don't know if her boyfriend's black, but I heard he's nice. Anyway, no, the house is located in Prince George County, Maryland, right outside of DC, and we bought it at the height of the housing bubble. And little background, PG County is the wealthiest black county in America, and this neighborhood was once a nice neighborhood. It was all kind of just working class people. But when the bubble burst, all the values went way down. Combined with, it's a suburb of DC, combined with DC's getting gentrified, so all the kind of people that are getting priced out of DC are coming here. So we bought this house in 2005 for $275,000. It is 2016, and I put a shit ton of work into it, which I'll show you, and now we're going to be selling it for $255. So awesome stuff. Anyway, let me go show you around. Oh, quick warning, this tour is going to be partly me whining and also patting myself on the back, and equal parts of that. Also, this tour will be a tour. There's nothing I hate more than some dude giving me like a tour of his house. But in this case, it's a video, so if you don't like the tour, you can just shut off the video. But anyway, we'll do the outside first. Just some quick background. My family and I moved out of the house in 2009 to go overseas, and we had a renter move in. And one of those renters really trashed the place. But lucky for me, he did leave me about 75 of his demo CDs. And that's the music you'll be hearing in the background of this video.
I'm in my zone, man, so now it's on, man, cause I'm a grown man with a strong plan.
This thing I'm really proud of. There's really kind of a busted up concrete walkway, and this used to be a little garden thing, but the renter made it grass. But yeah, I took all these flat slate stones, and I took a grinder with a stone cutting wheel and cut some of them so they were real tight, so that like you don't have too big of gaps in it, and then grouted it in. And the same, took some, made a stacked stone wall and a staircase there. Alright, initially I went to go re-roof the house. All the wood joists were all rotted off, and I had to rip all those off and put new plywood on, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, put new shingles on it, looks pretty good. I got a vented soffit along the top. I should have, over here, I should have extended that out over the gable, but what can you do? I also made this little guy here. Just a little cover for the window, little sunshade there, quite quaint. This is the back patio. I was working a job in Bethesda, and they're ripping out the old sidewalk. They had all these brick pavers as the sidewalk, and they were all going to the dumpster. So I asked the dude to put them to the side, and I just took them a little each day and brought them home. And I don't know, spent about a month. I built this little frame around, and yeah, put gravel base, tamped it down, sand, stone. This thing was level as glass when I left, but my renter, he used it as a driveway because he had a bunch of cars that weren't registered, so he parked them here in the back. So it got a little bit wonky. It wasn't really rated for traffic, but what can you do? Luke, why are you standing in the woods? Well, these were my woods. This may seem like a stupid thing, but I spent a lot of time and energy. The guy who lived here before me just used the woods as his junkyard. It was just full of car parts and rubble. I could have put up a fence, but I just wanted to look out the back window and see wood. So I spent a lot of time digging things out of here. But I also chopped a lot of dead trees, whatever. It's not as nice as it once was, but... And I made a little trail so I could drive I had a riding mower, and I'd ride the kids around. I had a little trail that went back through the woods and all that. It's a little bit blocked off now. But it was nice. I had a chainsaw, and I'd chop up the wood and put it on my rack there I built, and burn it in the wintertime. Hey, all right. Well, this is the garage, pretty standard. It doesn't look like much, but when I was in my heyday of working here, this place was nice. I had this big metal tool locker thing, that like a desk thing that I got from the trans department on bowling. Nice locker, all my tools were all set up. Had a big table saw, a radial arm saw here. This room does kicking the dick in here. But this is basically the only room that I didn't finish. I kind of had big plans for it. I did one job, this is a civilian, we built the Air Force One, Air Force Two hangar, like the smaller jet that he flies. And I got the nice paint they put on the hangar floor. I was going to go in here, I was going to re-sheetrock it, put some shelves up, do all kinds of stuff, but whew, AC is nice. We're in the middle of some DC heat wave. It's like 96 degrees out there, so it's like 105 with humidity. So I'm not just being a bitch. Yeah, so this is the laundry room bathroom area. When I moved here, this was nothing. This was actually one of the first jobs in the house I did. First time I ever did any sort of plumbing work, anything like that. I built this little closet thing. I had to get a stackable washer and dryer because I built the closet too small for a standard washer and dryer, but you learn as you go. Also, it's got a nice motion sensor light because you can't reach the light switch. But I also had to cut and customize these doors because the doors weren't the right size. Again, this is my first big project. Yeah, but this was a nice surprise. I found out when I ripped it off, I got this exposed brick here, so I left it out and I thought that looked good. This is the first big tile job. No, I'll say it's a big tile job, but the first tile job I did, and I'm pretty proud of myself the way it turned out. Alright, well this is the first bathroom I ever put in, and I think I did okay. I got this tile. This was part of a job. This was like a huge big wall and it had just a little bit left over, and I said, let me get that. I think that turned out pretty slick looking. This was sort of tricky because this is not above the basement. There was no plumbing in here at all. So I had to, for the waistline, I had to chip the concrete up straight through to there to get it into the basement to run for the wastewater to go out. And I did the same thing. I ran it that way so that way the laundry room waste would tie in with it. This was sort of a room, we didn't really know what much to do with it, but it was a kind of an office sort of room, so how we end up using it. And weirdly, we all spent most of our time in here, so we spent most of the time. I didn't do a whole lot in here. I had to redo the sheetrock on the ceiling, same with that wall there. This was like a concrete stair, so we didn't really know what to do with it, so I just put tile around it. I think it turned out okay. Yeah, spent a lot of time in this room. This is where the majority of the time, we were watching TV in the other room, or we'd sit in here and just hang out. Well, one thing I did have to do is, we had radiant baseboard heat, like metal ones, and they're old-fashioned ones, so we couldn't find any more, so I had to build it out of wood. And for some reason, I chose to carve like a tiny little flower into each single piece right here. Why I had to do that, I have no idea. What I did kind of like about this thing is it sort of served two unexpected purposes. One, we had this cat named Big Bud Buddy Boy, and because this is on the radiator and it was nice and flat, the cat would just live on this in the wintertime, just walk back and forth and sit on it. This is where you'd find the cat. And this is the house where Julia was born down the street from here, so this is her house as a baby. And like when she learned to walk here, and like one thing she'd cruise around, you know, like when kids like hold on to stuff and they kind of cruise, but one thing she'd like to do is she'd stand here and just hold on to this and then just stare out the window at there's like we'd always see this ton of deer. There's a shit ton of deer around here, and she'd always look out and check things out. Yeah, this room kind of makes me sad a little bit, because like I said, it's thinking about, because she was this big, that's her head to her, like she couldn't even see all the way up. Just sitting here like, she won't be that small again. And a lot of time when I was messing around making these doing stupid shit like that, Eli was a little like that too, and he's like, "Can I help?" And I was like, "No, you can't. not on this part. So a lot of times, like, he wanted to help me out with stuff in the house, but he's like sick, so what was he gonna do? So I just said no, and he did his thing, and I did my thing, and he's not gonna be 6 again, and not wanna do that kind of stuff, and at least not in that way, anyway. Yeah, like I said, this, we sit in this little couch right here, and we'd watch her kind of giggle at stuff. She'd laugh at the cat. She's always kind of a goober. But anyway, let's go look at the kitchen.
Show me some dances. That's not dancing, that's booty shaking. Turn around and dance. Show me the robot. Do the robot. This ain't a rap video. Turn around. Shake it. There it is. Do the robot. Let's booty shaking. Let's booty shaking, please.
Well, this is the kitchen. This was a job. This took me a long time. Before, when I got in here, this place looked like Beirut. They had these big brick bulkhead looking things that came out through here, kind of choked the room out. He had like plywood cabinets he had made, cooktop from the 1950s. You could set a can of tomatoes on the countertop and it would roll to one end, just because this shit was so out of level. The sink used to be kind of crammed here in the corner, but yeah, I did a lot. This was all down to the studs. This entire room was down to the studs. The floor was totally ripped out. There was nothing in here. These cabinets I actually did buy. Countertop I bought. I'd occasionally buy things. Appliances we all bought new. I'm not big on the stainless steel appliances. I don't know. It's not me. I feel like it's a fad. I don't like it. I like the white ones. I like the classic. But yeah, so like I said, this was a big job. A dude named Charlie Hayes came by. He's a guy I worked with. He is no longer with us, but he was a good man. He's kind of southern Maryland redneck dude. And I used to always tease him because he's real anal. We worked on, this was when I was in the Air Force, and he was a civilian, and I worked with him a lot. And we always said if we got signed out a tube of caulking or anything is considered hazardous material, so you had to go sign back in the empty thing. I didn't, I just threw it out because I thought that was dumb. But Charlie was big on it. He'd always get real mad. He'd always talk about, Luke, you can't throw out my tubes, Luke. Tubes, Luke, get the tubes all the time. Luke. The dude would make me hate my own name by the end of the day. But I love that guy. He's a good man. He's a good carpenter, and he taught me a lot. And yeah, it's the first time I hung cabinets like this. And he showed me little tricks and tips on how to do it. Put the backsplash in. I mean, everything. This whole thing is, everything is new in this place.
Just dump it all in there.
This is the living room. Obviously, it comes right off the kitchen area. This room was actually served as our kitchen while I was doing the kitchen. I put all the appliances and everything in here, and we had to do dishes in the bathroom. It was a rough couple months, but this room was a wreck too. This was all carpeted. It had this disgusting carpet. I had to strip all these floors down. This I had to replace a lot of stones, grout in it. This is actually original. This is an old back cave stove. I would take it out, but it weighs about 1,000 pounds. But this thing worked like a champ. Like I said, I just cut all that wood down, and you put this in here, and it's got these little dampers on the front. It's got those little damper things, and this would blow, and you plug it in, and it gets to a certain temperature, and the fans kick on. And this would heat the whole upstairs of the house. This thing is awesome. Put these little lights in here. There's no light in the ceiling. I could have done that, but I never did. I did all the crown molding, all the trim is new. Again, this is the first time I did crown molding here, so I learned how to do crown molding in this house. Yeah. This first bedroom is Julia's room. It's pretty small, but I think we did so was she at the time, so it was fine. Her bed was only this big, so it worked out perfectly. It's got one little closet. Put all this wainscoting on. Thought that looked ace. I built all these little shelves. This was nice. This was kind of a fun project. This is just white pine with I think it's antique oak stain on it. I think it turned out pretty good. These are still our curtains. They're kind of nasty now. But yeah, this room served pretty good. Again, this is a room that didn't have a radiator, so I had to make this little thing. I didn't carve the flowers in it this time. I took it easy. But still, I think the shelves turned out really good. Anyway, let me show you another room. This is the master bedroom. Again, they do incredibly too much here. Just strip the floors, place a lot of drywall. This used to actually have, it's weird, it might sound silly I took a bathroom out, but it had a bathroom in here that was literally this from here to right there. The guy built it. It looked like a camp bathroom. You could sit on, you had to slide into the door, close the door like this, and you could wash your hands in the sink while you're on the toilet. But I just took it out because it made the room look, it was kind of silly. And well, I will say I had to repaint this room because the renter had put a million holes in the wall, and I didn't want to buy any more paint, so I used to trick my mom, and that was to mix a bunch of cans together, and you mix all the cans together and you see what color you get. She said, "Might as well, you're gonna throw them out anyway, and I'll see what you're gonna get." And it turned into this nice, it was like white, tan, and yellow, and it turned into this little sort of nice peach color. So I'm pretty pleased with the way that turned out. But yeah, I did all the trim in here, all the baseboard. That's consistent throughout the house. So, as we're going down the hallway, this is the hallway. I'm gonna let you, I had to redo every door in here. I had to rip out the old door frame, put in a new door frame. This hallway, every door frame was a different height. This I made a big double closet door. This was just a single closet. It was a pretty big size closet. Yes, I ripped every door out. I put in every door. I bought these little 6-panel doors, built the frames, cut the headers out, put new headers in the doorway so all the doors were at least the same level. New trim, new baseboard, crown molding, replaced a lot of drywall in the hallway. Again, stripped the floors. Yeah, this place looked like a I don't know. They said the neighbor said the guy was a carpenter, but I'm not sure what level of carpenter this dude was because this place was a mess. Anyway, this is Eli's room. It doesn't look like much. It isn't much. It's just a little square room, but it was bright green before. He liked this. Green's his favorite color. But it was funny before we moved to London. Mom and Julia went ahead of us, so me and Eli had to get the house ready for a renter. Still, the house wasn't done yet, and all the furniture went shipped over, and me and Eli slept in this room on air mattresses and TV, a suitcase, and that was it. He had to finish up that year of school, and I had to finish up some things at work. It was a fun couple months. It was like camping out in here, and yeah, it was a good time. Alright dudes, now we are getting into some shit. This bathroom this is a big point of pride for me, the amount of work I put in this bathroom here. This was a mess. You still walked in here. The toilet was basically right where I'm standing. You had a tub that went this way, and this was nothing, this was a wall. This actually, I cut into this. Here, this used to be this kind of pointless closet. Right here, there used to be a door here that I deleted. And it was because there's a stairway to the basement that goes right through there. So the closet had half of a stairway in it. You can still see the stairway, it's like an angle right there at the back of the cabinet. So I cut into this wall to make this, to put the sink back in here. I built this cabinet. This I got at a salvage place because it was just a small piece, and I had a marble place cut the hole, but then I put the sink in, ran the plumbing from underneath. This was wide open to the basement, so I ran the plumbing to here, put the toilet over there, obviously, recessed lights and stuff. This dude here took some brain work to try to figure out how to make a rubberized pan to put my tile in. This is the first time I ever put in a shower, but I don't know who took that out. That's not the shower head. I had this nice big rain, whatever the hell you call it, big heavy duty shower thing. But yeah, I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit. I want you to see how smooth that, look at those lines. I had a little help. The guy, again, this is the first time I ever did marble also, so he showed me how to polish things and how to set stone properly. I said, look at that, look at that. Oh, beautiful thing. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this thing. This doesn't look like your standard suburban house. They usually don't have bathrooms like this. But there's not a lot of storage, so I put like, it's a kind of his and her medicine cabinets. Whoa, big fancy light. Yeah, like I said, I built this out of plywood. I will say this, this is a Rust-Oleum metal paint. You may not be able to tell on here, but it feels like a laminate almost. But it is not. It is just a rounded out piece of plywood, but it turned out quite nice. Now these were left over from a big job. They were all slightly damaged. However, you didn't see that? These are about, this is about $200 worth of bathroom hardware. These are very fancy Schmedbo Swedish bathroom hardware. All right, welcome to the basement. Before I can really show you around the basement, let me show you one thing that some of you probably find boring, but I'll show you anyway. All right, this is the foundation of the house. You have a foundation, and then there's the foundation, then there's the cinder block wall. This is the dirt that's outside, and this is the basement, and that's the slab on which we stand right now in the basement, and there's stone down here. What I did, because the walls kept leaking, it's leaking in the walls, water was coming up here. What I did is I went and cut 16 inches of concrete out around the entire basement, took that out, dug out down here, put in a French drain. That's that kind of black corrugated pipe you see in the landscape section of Lowe's. Put that plastic sheeting around the wall here. But before that, I drilled holes in every single core of each block on the wall. So that way when water came in, I knew I couldn't stop the water from coming in. So, but I tried on one wall digging out on the outside and sealing it. It didn't do shit. Water just came up this way. So what that did is that all goes that pipe that wraps the entire circumference of the basement and all leads to a sub pump. And all those pipes run directly into this pit right here, which have a sub pump. And what this is a battery. This is a battery backup system, so it'll run for, if the power goes out, it'll still run for 10 hours. And this guy charges the battery, so when the battery stops, this thing kicks on and goes. The first renter, again, such an awesome guy. This thing, when it's fully charged, it'll beep occasionally. He didn't like the beeping, so he unplugged it. So when we got a big rain and the power went out, the basement flooded. Who had to pay for that? The renter? No, the landlord did. Awesome stuff. So I lost a lot of the carpet, and I had a really nice big baseboard in here, so all that was gone and got replaced by, I was in London, so some butchers came in and did the remediation work. They didn't do a terrible, terrible job, but it was cheap, and you get what you pay for. So anyway, this guy and that concrete work was work. That was a lot of work. But that's the only way in order I could finish out this basement to stop the water before I could do it. Alright, in this basement, I got all these cabinets. Bowling was tearing out their base housing, so I grabbed these cabinets. I wasn't really sure what to do with them. But I had to put this wall here for a pipe, so I thought I'd make it like a little kind of kitchenette wet bar thing. So I ran the plumbing for this thing. It's got a little mini fridge. I made the countertop out of black tile I had left over from a job. I think it turned out pretty sharp. Initially, my thought for this was like way down the line, maybe Eli's in college or he's a little older and it'd be like a little apartment for him and he kind of have his own like privacy, because it's got 2 bedrooms down here and its own bathroom and everything. But I finished this out, or in the meantime we were going to make like a little home studio thing, but I never even watched a movie down here, I never did anything down here. There's never a piece of furniture of mine placed down here because I finished it right as we moved. So anyway, it is finished. It looks nice, but I never got to enjoy it. But yeah, that was the plan for it originally. All right, walking through here, a little built-in shelf action here. Would you take a look? Look at the angles. Look how tight my angles are. Look at that. Fucking tight. Yeah, built a little built-in shelf business here. Through this guy here. Oh, this is the exterior door. And part of that French drain system, I'd shipped this concrete up to be able to put this drain on the outside. We didn't have an outside drain, so when it rained, water just poured in underneath the door. So I poured this bit here. These were here, but I had to level them out because they had a negative grade, so the water was going back this way. I rebuilt this wall. I left this brick here because this is kind of silly shit my dad does. My dad made this here, but the block wall before was all busted up. I left this one block just to save his little work here. I should have fixed these stairs, but that's something I never got around to. This patio outside. Yeah, so that's coming out the basement. Leads into this bathroom right here. This dude was also a good bit of work, and I had to do a little bit of research because my sewage is below grade. What that means is I had to chip the concrete out to run the plumbing and run it to a sewage ejector pump, which I'll show you in a moment. But I'm quite pleased with this bathroom here. I got this tub for free from a job because it was all jacked up. But I got like this tub repair kit. You can kind of tell on the corners if you can see the discoloration, but you can't beat free. So just little corners there. This is a sewage ejector pump. It's similar to a sub pump except that it's ejecting poop. So you need different check valves, like you don't want poop coming back down in there, and different shutoffs and stuff. But yeah, so far it hasn't failed. It's worked really well. And you need a sealed pit, something that seals, that keeps all the stink in. This is Maryland, so they have a oil heat thing they use. So this is a big oil tank. But this is the sewer line that's running from that pump, and this is running from that other bathroom there. Because that floor is up actually above here, but not above the basement. So over to the side of it. So yeah, this got this place all cleaned up, nice. It's got a backup hot water heater system. I did a lot down here. A new panel, I had to rip out the old fuse box. This was expensive. This I had to pay because I had to get the electric company to shut the power off to the house and then reconnect it. But before, we had a glass fuse system. And this basement leaked a lot. It was like, you get like 2 foot of water in here. And one time all the fuses blew and I had to change a bunch of fuses. So I had my wife at the time, I wore a big rubber pad and rubber boots, and I had her with a 2x4, and I was like, if I start geeking out, knock my hands with a 2x4. It never came to that though. Everybody lived. Yeah, well, so that's my house. Like I said, it's been really hard a few weeks, so I haven't really done I haven't done shit. I've been in DC. I was gonna do some shows here, but I didn't necessarily feel very funny or really like it. Like, it's been heavy, man. Like I said, I put a lot into this house, and initially we thought we were gonna make something off of it, but Maryland and this county's got all these fucking ridiculous fees. So it turns out we gotta sell it for, this is after I've been in here for like 10 days. I was talking to the realtor before, and they're like, oh, we'll make something. And I'm working like 10, 12 hours a day, so I want to get back home and get to the kids and get back to my life. And they're real excited, like, this will go quick, but it's going to go as a short sale, which means we don't get dick. We get bad credit. So we get, the choice is you foreclose and you get 7 years bad credit, or short sale and get 3 years bad credit. So, and the fucked up part, the short sales, you still have to get the house nice so it'll sell quick. So I've been spending a lot of time to do that in order to get nothing. So that's where I've been. And basically I didn't feel like going to shows, and you feel like, oh, you're in Maryland, you should look me up. I didn't feel like talking to anybody. I felt, I just wanted to fucking do this thing, get this done with, and get the fuck out of here. It was, like I said, it's been very emotional bit, because every bit of this house I touched, and every bit of this house I thought was going to come back to us. Like, it'd either be as in a place to live or as an investment for my family, and that turned out not to be the case. Bernie Sanders, 2016. Sorry, Bernie. The revolution died. Like I said, I mean,
the housing market crashed, and they bailed out the motherfuckers who made it crash. And everybody, like, there's so many foreclosures on the street, and all the people, they took that money and gave it to every single American. You can look this up, I'm not pulling this out of my ass. Every American would have got $20,000. Every homeowner could have got 60 if they just gave it straight to homeowners, and they would have paid down their loan, and that crisis would have been over quick. But I don't know. It is what it is. Like it's upsetting a lot, but I mean it's circumstance, and that's just what it is. But like I said, I still learned a lot from this place. All the skills that I have now, I learned from here, and I learned to appreciate my RV a lot more. But yeah, anyway, this was the house. Yeah, this was the house that we lived in for a long time. This is the house where I learned a lot of the shit that I know. Thanks if you stuck through the video this long. Thanks, and for taking this journey with me. Anyway, thank you guys, and hopefully I'll get back to regularly scheduled programming in the next few weeks. Bye bye.